pretty simple inside move. The tackle was missed, nowhere near it, and Richie O'Connor able to just pop right in under the posts, makes the conversion easy. Australia take the lead by a wider margin, 12 points to 0.
And the West Indies players talking it over here, trying to get something going, trying to stop this Australian momentum.
Yeah, they may be looking for Brian Lara, about time champion cricketer from the West Indies. They may need some help.
And the kickoff bounces high in the air. Looks like it went forward off an Australian player. Yes. Referee Phil Smith says scrum to the West Indies. And let's see how this scrum goes here. Australia digging in. Want to push this West Indies pack back. Let's see if they can disrupt this possession by the West Indies. Albert LaRose would be putting it in. Pretty solid ball. Probes a little bit on the outside. Good defense by the Australians, spreading out the defense. Just a misplay there by the West Indies. And the ball quickly goes back to Vinnie Byrne. And once again, Sawyer in the midfield cuts through the West Indies defense, and he has enough to get through. And good pursuit there by Hollis Green, never let up by the West Indies. But Anthony Sawyer scores his second IRB Sevens try to widen the lead to 17-0 in favor of the Aussies.
Again, what happened there is from the set phase, the scrum, the West Indies, they went to the blind side, got a bit isolated over there, and bad things happen when you're isolated. Australia was able to regain possession. A missed tackle there, did not retain the tackle player on the ground. Anthony Sawyer popped up, was able to run it right in for the try.
And another successful conversion by Australia makes it 19-0. Got about a minute left in this first half. And Ray, we talked about Wellington last week. Australia started out with victories over Papua New Guinea and beat Scotland. Then they lost some heartbreakers, 19-7 to England. And then in the Cup quarterfinal, they lost to Fiji 21-14. And in the plate semifinal, they lost to Argentina 21-17. So a couple of close outings there. But again, coming up on the short side, it's currently sitting in 8th place in the standings.
That's right. The performance, particularly against Fiji, was meritorious. They did go down in the plate thing against Argentina. Australia is an improving side. They're a young side, and it certainly is a stepping stone. But away goes the West Indies.
Yeah, nice break here by the West Indies referee, still playing advantage. And let's see if the West Indies can take advantage of that pass right there. And the referee's going to come back.
Full jersey.
A long advantage.
Not again.
I would like to point out that the player on the far side of the field was not offside in that situation. He was a legal player to take that intercept pass, but the referee was playing advantage. The West Indies get the penalty.
Here's Albert LaRose over to Damian Pearson. A long pass out again. A good cover defense by Australia, coming up quickly. And there's the patience on the Australian defense. Let's see what's going to happen there. I think they'll be happy with it just being tied up. And they are, and the referee, Phil Smith, calls halftime. We played 7 minutes of this fourth game in the USA Sevens, and it's Australia 19 over the West Indies 0.
Pretty workmanlike start for the Australian side. I don't think Glenello would be too unhappy with that start. Not too many mistakes by the Australian side. The restarts, the West Indies did have a good shot at a couple of those restarts and did maintain some possession, but they really weren't able to break an Australian defense that was solid. It never broke. And the Australians right now have the 19-0 lead at halftime.
And there's some of the lovelies coming down to enjoy USA Sevens.
Here's some highlights here. Anthony Sawyer, he's got 2 tries in this first half. Did real well. Richie O'Connor, he just ran a simple cutback. The defense couldn't take it. Scores that one under the post. And here's the second try for Anthony Sawyer. 2 so far today. The Australians have a very solid lead. And really, they've done it without their top players. They're on the bench, they're coming off the bench. Luke Inman, by far the most experienced Australian in this side. And also Nick Riley, he's the true speedster of this Australian team.
And what we've seen so far, Ray, in that first half, you touched on early in the tackle, it seems where the Australians are really dominating play. They're getting through this West Indies defense. West Indies a little smaller in stature than the Australians and a little less experienced as well. And the Australians are taking advantage of that situation. We saw the West Indies, as you mentioned, Anthony Sawyer was caught in the tackle, but they released him. He was allowed to get up and go, and there was no cover to stop Sawyer for his second romp. And let's see what the West Indies can do in the second half. We've seen one really good upset in the first round with Canada beating South Africa, then 2 one-sided games, and this one could turn into a one-sided game. Let's see what the West Indies can do here in the last 7 minutes.
Good crowd starting to come in. Brian, I think we should have a good crowd here today. Weather's magnificent. And West Indies are just about ready to get the second half started here. Australia take the lead right now, 19 points to 0.
Ready?
And here's Phil Smith. The Australian captain says, yes, we're ready. And here's the start of the second half. And it goes down to number 8, Matthew Bell. Might have been his first touch of the afternoon. Out wide once again, Sawyer. Richie O'Connor probing wide. Sawyer again, long pass. West Indies defense coming up. This could create a gap for the Australians. A good wrap tackle there by the West Indies.
Play on!
And the West Indies first to get to the tackled area. Getting the ball out wide. Kevin McKenzie, one of the new players, and that ball goes right to the Australians. Got to watch out. Yep, crossing in front of one another. Can't do that. And it's going to be a put into the scrum by the West Indies team.
Subs! 10
And we've got
yellow
our
off.
first replacement there. Luke Milton coming onto the field for Australia.
Yeah.
And again, Coach Glenn Ello allowing to keep Nick Riley, Josh Gamby, and Luke Inman. His three most experienced players, along with Damon Murphy on the bench. For the bigger games to come. And the West Indies get the ball out. Hollow screen. Trying to get it on Richie O'Connor. And now he's going to be trapped. And he squirts out of there. And let's see if the squirt comes in time. Ball still free, West Indies. And the referee, ball hit the referee inadvertently. And Phil Smith has pinned to the referee. Calls for a scrum once again to the West Indies. Again, good solid defense by the Australians. They're allowing the West Indies to probe, but good discipline. They're keeping their lanes.
Yeah, they're keeping a very structured line in defense. And what's happening with that is the West Indies can go as wide as they like, but the cover defense is going to get across. They're going to be able to shut down most of the opportunities.
Time's on.
And really, the West Indies haven't had a clean break since very early in this game.
And a little ragged scrum there by the West Indies. Ball goes flying out wildly. Little high tackle, but I think the West Indies player Albert LaRose went down in that tackle. That's why it struck him across the head. And it's going to be a line out here for Australia. They already stole one ball from the West Indies early on. They do have the height advantage.
Wait, guys, sort it out. Here we go.
And let's see what they do. Yep, coming right into the line. Easily taken. Ball out wide.
You've got advantage.
Textbook line out for Australia.
Stop! Stop! You, come here. You, come here.
Looks like the referee wants to chat to a couple of the players on both sides.
Yeah. Sorry, halfback. Halfback, this man right here, right? So if you were the late tackle, okay, late tackle. Yellow card, right? Elbow, yellow card. Off you go.
There must have been some indiscretion went on there, Brian. We've got two players that have been yellow carded.
You don't see that too often.
Wait, no.
It's
Penalty's going to be against you for the
one guy yellow
retaliation.
card in the
Right?
seventh
Drop
match,
the
but
ball
to
here.
see two
Penalty's
sent
going to be
off at
against
the
you.
same time.
Back 10. Retaliation, right?
Very peculiar.
Late tackle, then an elbow. Penalty here, blue
at
ball.
halftime for the West Indies. Vinnie Byrne, number 6 for Australia. They're both going to cool their heels in the sin bin for just a little while here.
And Phil Smith awards the penalty to the West Indies. And let's see if they can take advantage. Right into the Australian defense.
Advantage.
And that's going to be a problem. Not releasing the ball in the tackle. You can see the way he fell in that tackle. There was no way he was going to get it back. Australia with the penalty and the quick restart.
And nice ball here by Michael Black. Gets it out wide. Richie O'Connor. Once again, hollow screen. Chip ahead by the West Indies. Australia back to cover. Oh, nice collision there by the Australians. And again, West Indies putting a little pressure on, spending a little bit of time here in the second half on Australia's side of midfield.
Blue.
Haven't found the try zone yet, but have kept Australia out of it. 4 minutes left.
It's sort of a trademark of these Australian Sevens teams that they're not a breakout team. They play to their opposition. They tend to stay within themselves. Rarely you're going to see an Australian Sevens side put up a scoreline like we saw Samoa put up against a Mexican team. But this is the way the Australians play their game.
Stay in the scrum till it ends, please. Right, here we go. Crouch and hold. Engage. Have it in.
Right now. solid, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah, the score lines from the David Campisi days are
yeah, those days.
far between for Australia these days. Good defense by Australia, though it is a workmanlike team. As the ball squirts through the West Indies. I think that's Hollis Green again, trying to go outside Richie O'Connor this time. This could be trouble for the West Indies. Hollis Green would have done very well to get this ball back. And it looks like it's coming. Referee says, yep. Now on that ball, hands in by Australia.
It's good. Tackle away.
Bill Smith said yes, the Australians were back 10, so he allows play to continue. And the West Indies doing a much better job here in the second half, retaining possession. As Richie O'Connor throws Hollis Green in the touch.
Sin bin's on.
And it looks like the referee's bringing both players back on.
Sin bin's on.
Who were sin bin. And some substitutions coming on. Looks like number 9, Theo Henry, another new player for the West Indies, comes on.
Yellow.
Replacing number 1, Derek Hurdle. And referee playing advantage here for Australia.
All right. Advantage over.
And I don't think he's going to need to worry about it. Looks like Australia on the move. Number 6, Vinnie Byrne, just out of the sin bin. Fresh legs. Gets the ball back over to Richie O'Connor for his second try of the afternoon. And widening Australians lead to 24-0.
Yeah, Vinnie Byrne taking advantage of that little respite on the sideline. Makes the wide gap, sets it up, just drags the defence across, inside ball to Richie O'Connor. Once again, another straightforward Australian try. Here we see it, good inside ball, no hint of a forward pass there. Richie O'Connor in position for the inside pass. That's a good Australian try.
And one of the keys for a successful sevens team, of course, is great support by the players in pursuit. As Australia kicks another successful conversion, 26-0 now. Again, not a huge score line, but a very solid effort so far by the Australians.
Well, this is a good game for the Australians. They've got Tonga next up, and then late in the day, they've got the big game in this pool between New Zealand. And with New Zealand ever improving and the Australians improving, that should be a very interesting matchup late in the afternoon today.
Knock on blue, scrum.
And with Australia, the luxury of resting some of their big boys. You mentioned Inman and Riley.
Keep it steady, blue. Don't wheel
Riley,
it.
of course, the speed burner on this team.
Engage. Vantage. Offside.
The referee said that ball was still in before the West Indies player latched down to the Australian. And the Aussies quickly get it wide. Richie O'Connor. Gets good support, backup position there by Michael Black. And again, get that ball out of trouble. Australians throwing it wide. Sean McKay looking for help. Finding him close. Luke Milton. And that ball's free. Oh, a little too long there in that decision. Nice Theo Henry. Henry's long hair. And referee playing advantage again to the Australians. And Michael Black goes right through the heart of the West Indies defense. He's got one man in pursuit, but it looks like Michael Black's got enough to cover the distance. Australia's 5th try of the afternoon, making it 31-0 in favor of the men from Oz. And we're approaching just under 30 seconds left here in this match 4 of the USA Sevens. And Ray, you mentioned the fans are starting to stream in, or the stands are starting to fill up.
Oh, it's going to be a good crowd here. And that'll wrap it up, Brian.
A lovely conversion there by Michael Black. Finishes off for Australia 33-0. West Indies gave it a good go in that second half. They kept Australia out of the try zone for much of that second half, but Australia, again, too good, too fit. Scored a couple of late tries to make it a one-sided match, 33-0. And that takes us to our 5th match of the USA Sevens.
Squad. They've got a bit of pace in Theo Henry there. Watch out for the number 9. And I sense if we see them get a try or two, all things are possible, but realistically, The West Indies only came together in the Trinidad Sevens recently. They won that one. They've been trying to fit and get fit and train hard, but
thank you.
Well, we'll see. You just never know. They were very credible in their efforts against Australia in their opening round, losing, but losing with honour. And Graham Bullen, the home-based referee here in the USA, is in charge. New Zealand, the men in black, feared around the world on the Sevens circuit, really until this season, when they've not taken up their accustomed position in the tournament finals. They won the plate in Dubai, they're in the plate final in George, lost to Samoa, last time out, lost in the cup to Fiji, the eventual winners. But they're determined, very, very determined to defend their title. First scrum then, in this glorious weather, and a good crowd coming along here to the Home Depot Centre.
Bind up, thank you.
I would say probably, Mark, the best we've had in the 3 years.
Yeah, it's great for the IRB tournament here. I mean, it really is growing in popularity. It takes some time to get established, but it bodes well for tomorrow as well. I think we'll have a pretty, even fuller house than we have today.
There it is.
So Pelanisi setting it up, and a lot of black shirts out wide. This is Ryan Kambula. On the drive is James Marr. Will he slide to the line? Was that one continuous movement? The referee goes across.
Did it come out of his hand
and
here?
Consults with his touch judge. I'm not sure that was just on his momentum. There might have been a second significant move.
Scrum down here.
And it's going to be, a decision in favour of the West Indies. I was quite impressed with their opening performance. I know they were beaten by a reasonably but large score, 0-33, but they were very competitive, a lot of pace.
A lot of pace and a lot of spirit. Great tackle here from Theo Henry, bringing him down short. And yeah, the little knock on right on the line.
There was a knock on, and I think he was stopped as well. So, unfortunately though, the scrummage now goes back to New Zealand. Unfortunately, that is for the West Indies.
This is where the technique in sevens comes in the scrum rise, of the pushing up the ball and winning your own ball, and the smaller countries haven't really got to grips with that just yet.
Sweeney to Hunt. And a stroll in for Pelanisi. Alfred Pelanisi from Canterbury gets the first. I don't think it'll be the last.
Pretty basic stuff, Nigel, solid scrum. The playmaker making some extra space on the outside, and basically a 2-on-1 as we come down to it. Hunt, very impressed with this young man. Takes two players out, the winger comes in, should have stayed out. And with speed like this guy's got, Pelanisi, it's an easy try.
With the conversion by Dwayne Sweeney, that's how it stands in these opening moments.
He's reminiscent of Pelanisi, reminds me a wee bit of Eric Rush, Nigel, my old buddy. And Rushy, if you're watching, I hope you're getting well, mate. I know you've gone through a bit of illness, and we all wish you all the best for your recovery.
He has. He's fortunately back down in Wellington. Here comes his squad again, which he's had a significant part. Same man again.
And Pelanisi again, and Rushy always used to wear number 2 as well. So even more characteristics alike. But great handling by the Kiwis. Second try on the board.
And his fourth of the day, 2 in the opener, 2 in this one. And again, the recipient of a nice pass and a nice little switch ball. Bust the tackle, which was too high, and allowed him to break it through the arm and under the post.
But good lines of running again, which we saw from the South Africans. Very straight and direct, and awareness on the ball with the ball carrier.
Enigmatic face of Gordon Tietjens. 15 years in charge of New Zealand Sevens. He's seen them win everything: World Cup titles, Commonwealth Games titles twice. Both occasions they've held it. And all 6 of the IRB Sevens titles. Another one. Dwayne Sweeney from Waikato. 3 and 3.
Well, he set up the last try with a lovely switch and showed his confidence on the ball there, backing himself, Nigel, making space, handing off initially, and then just going on the outside break.
There's a remarkable, talk about Gordon Tietjens, but his key strength of all things is the way he finds these players. These are youngsters who've come through really from very limited representative rugby at a senior level, and he sees them and he sees the potential, like Dwayne Sweeney there. New this season, this is only his 2nd tournament. The young lad from Waikato, Pelanisi from Canterbury, in his 3rd tournament. And the others we've seen earlier today, in Corey Jane and Soa Kai, James Marr, who's out there now. he can find them, and he has this uncanny ability. Admittedly, he's got a wonderful resource. He's got a wonderful clutch of players, but you've got to spot them, haven't you?
Yeah, the awareness. These players have all got great sort of... They have time on the ball. Look at this. They take they're confident. They're aware. They're competitive.
Now, the guy there, Lottie Raukambula, number 12, he's playing junior level rugby. He's never played a representative game in his life. Here's another. Pelanisi, is that a hat-trick? Yes, it is. Alfred Pelanisi on the receiving end. Hat-trick of tries. That's his first in IRB Sevens rugby. Then it is only his third tournament.
But again, you know, he knows his way to the line now. You know, I give him half a yard and he's gone. Competitive stuff from Waikabula there. He just like, out it goes. Mr. Sweeney. And he uses inside out, a little bit of little handoff. Poor tackling from the West Indies, obviously. But clinical stuff, Nigel.
Well, they do seem to be trying to take the men out too high, and they're able to slip through, and as in that case, you know, their momentum is lost. Restart then, and trailing by 24.
Blue.
4 tries. There's Theo Henry, nice play. They need a try back. They deserve a try back, but they have so little possession. How many times do we say that is the key? Here's like Raikambula saying, plays in junior club rugby in Wellington. Never been in a top team, a provincial team of any level at all. Little junior club. And here he is playing for New Zealand. Pelanisi going for 4. Oh, he's away. He'll get 4 as well. He's going to match Francisco. No, he's not. He's given it to James Marr. I was going to say he's going to equal the tournament record so far of Francisco Bosch for Argentina, but James Marr, well, you're seeing a whole clutch of new faces. This guy from Counties Manukau, a flanker who made his name in the Air New Zealand Provincial Cup.
Lovely pace, steps his man, Nigel. Look at just eases down the wing, and then has, you know, they've got great camaraderie in this team. You know, no selfish players. They feed each other, get under the post, get the extra points. Nice try.
And his first in the IRB Sevens game. So half-time they turn round, and it's 31 points to 0. Class will out.
Much better kickoffs as well from the All Blacks. You know, I mean, the first game was a little bit long, a little bit rusty, but very clinical in this first half. There's Theo Henry.
West Indies side coached by Joe Whipple, who is actually Canadian by birth but lives in Barbados. He's also the Barbados 15-a-side coach. This team made up of players from the different islands. In the case of Bermuda, Barbados, British Virgin Islands, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and three from Guyana. But it's all New Zealand so far.
One-way traffic with the speed on the outside with Pelanisi. Great lines of running from Dwayne Sweeney. Great switch again inside to this young flyer. He certainly knows his way to the line. And again, Sweeney, handoff, strong, shows the ball, confidence on the ball, time, and takes the speed on the outside. Oh, it's a good young squad he's put together here, and they're getting more and more confident, Nigel. Again, Pelanisi inside and out. We've got to say that the West Indies going far too high in the tackles, not committing to the man low. Again, little job inside, and the big fella scores under the posts.
Well, as you said rightly, it's a learning process, and I was very impressed with the likes of Pelanisi in the earlier tournaments, which has shown them grow into the mould of the previous great New Zealand squads. In a very short time, they were impressive in Wellington. Didn't expect them to win, but they so nearly pulled it off against Fiji in the semi-final. Bit over elaboration there. Chance for Derek Hurdle then. The ball at last.
Such a shame.
A real opportunity there. Derek Hurdle from Bermuda, top forward, and the chance lost of possession. That's the.
So the solid lines at the hit, gentlemen.
What's a knock on though?
Crouch and hold. Engage.
Could have led to a try,
Find up one, thank you.
Theo Henry. Well, he's the tricky runner in the side with a lot of pace, but It didn't work, the dummy was not brought.
Back up, Black.
But
Back
possession
up.
retained.
Advantage blue, offside number 12. Yep. Get behind the last foot.
Against New Zealand.
You good?
Henry to take it. Sort of a Cassius Clay-like dancing.
That's fine. He was a tackler.
Oh, a chance with Derek Hurdle. Hurdle to the line. He can power his way there. Yes, he has. Oh, like it, like it.
Crowd like that.
Oh.
He has a teammate called Derek Hurdle. In fact, it is Derek Hurdle, so he literally, used his name to get over the line.
Like it. And the crowd did too. There was no way he was going to be stopped. Come hell or high water, he was going to go over the top.
Well, Theo showed us a little bit of ice ballet on the, with his little thing, and then a hoof up the field, and watch this. Here he goes. Terrific stuff. What a great way to score your first try in the tournament.
Yeah, it's good to see West Indies on the board then, having lost to Australia in the opener. They've come back, and don't underestimate the meaning of a try against New Zealand. And a near conversion too. Antonio Gibbons from Barbados hit the far upright, high up. That would have been a magnificent conversion. But a great boost. West Indies score a try against New Zealand. Let us never forget, this is a truly global game. Some pretend to be, this one is World 7.